A young man's life is about to change dramatically when an unexpected encounter in a luxury hotel reveals secrets from his past. Discover his incredible story. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like to not miss our stories. It was a busy afternoon at the employment office, crowded with people looking for work. Among the crowd, a young man of 20 stood out for his need to find a job. His name was Dorian, and he urgently needed to help his mother, Mira, who was ill and in critical condition. At the employment office, a woman looked at him with an expression of mixed pity and professionalism. "We don't have any positions available for your profile today," she told him. "It's increasingly difficult to find a job, even for those who have finished high school. For you, who only have an elementary school education, it's even more complicated. But I promise that if there is any news, we will contact you." Those words made Dorian's heart sink into despair, but he knew he had to be strong for his mother. Returning home with the weight of sadness on his shoulders, he hoped to be able to share at least some good news with Mira. Unfortunately, he had nothing to tell. Despite her weakness, Mira had baked a cake for him. "My love, you are late," she said in a faint voice. "I don't have money for food, but I borrowed some ingredients from the neighbor and made this cake for you. How did it go at the unemployment office?" Dorian felt a lump in his throat, lowered his head, and said, "I didn't get anything, Mom." Mira smiled, trying to hide her pain. "Don't worry, son. I still have my pension. I know it's not much, but we'll manage with it." Despite the words of comfort, Mira tried to hide her pain to prevent Dorian from suffering with her. However, he realized the truth and wanted to be the pillar of the family, ensuring his mother a comfortable life. Seeing him desolate, with his eyes red from unshed tears, Mira said to him, "I am so sorry, my love. You could have had the life of a king, but I could not give it to you. I hope that one day you can forgive me. Mother, the best gift a son can have is a wonderful mother like you. Don't reproach yourself. I am the happiest son in the world," replied Dorian. "Whatever happens, know that I will take care of you, my son," Mira told him sweetly. 2 months later, his mother died. Left alone, he had to deal with the bureaucracy of the funeral alone. Mira found eternal rest in a public cemetery, while for Dorian, the journey was far from over. He had been living on his mother's pension, but now he had to make ends meet. The situation became critical when he couldn't pay the rent, and the landlord gave him a 2-week ultimatum to pay the debt. Desperate, he sent his resume everywhere. Luckily, he found temporary work as a bricklayer, but the pay was not enough to cover the arrears. One day, while he was working on a renovation, his cell phone rang. "Good afternoon. We have received your resume and would like to invite you to an interview," said a female voice. Dorian's joy was enormous, but there was a problem. They wanted him to be at the interview within 2 hours. He accepted immediately, without even asking the name of the company. He told his colleagues the news, who offered to cover his work so he could leave early. The interview was near, but Dorian did not notice his appearance. His work clothes were now worn and dirty. With determination, she arrived at the luxury seaside hotel where she had an appointment, one of the most exclusive in the country. "I've never sent a resume here," he thought in confusion. Although he was aware of his disheveled appearance, Dorian knew that this might be the opportunity he was looking for. He took a deep breath and entered the hotel. Before we continue, we'd like to ask you, how do you think Dorian's interview at the luxury hotel will go? Write your ideas in the comments, and if this story is intriguing you, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to our channel. The people around him were dressed impeccably and everyone was looking at him. As he walked toward the front desk, a heavy hand fell on his shoulder. It was a security guard, much larger than him. "I think you've got the wrong place, my friend," he said. "I've come for an interview," Dorian replied. The guard smiled sarcastically. "Even if he were, I don't think he's here. We don't hire people who look like that." Dorian was speechless, looking for help, but found only serious and indifferent faces. At the reception, everyone looked at him with contempt, commenting on his dirty clothes and the smell of cement and sand. The guard grabbed his arm, ready to lead him out. "Let's hurry, you're already disturbing the customers." When they were almost at the exit, an elegant woman stopped them. Her presence immediately calmed the atmosphere. "I saw everything that happened. You didn't even check at the front desk to see if this young man had an appointment," he said in a firm but gentle voice. The guard tried to defend himself, but the woman cut him off with a look. "Go and check. Wait here, please," she said to Dorian. The guard walked away quickly, and the woman turned to Dorian with a reassuring smile. "Hello, my name is Elara." Elara was a businesswoman from another city. Dorian, still a little dazed, told her about his job search, his mother, and what had happened that day. Elara listened attentively, and her eyes showed genuine compassion. "It must not have been easy," she said after listening. "You are a strong man." The empathy in her voice was palpable, and Dorian felt a little relieved. He blushed at Elara's compliment, but before he could respond, the guard returned, accompanied by another woman. "I see you've already met Elara, one of our best guests," the woman said, her bearing elegant. "I'm Ingrid. I was the one who invited you to the interview. I'm sorry about the security guard's behavior." The guard beside her looked nervous and pale. Elara waved politely and led Dorian toward the elevator. They walked through the luxurious corridors and arrived at Ingrid's office. All eyes were on them, some covert, some blatant. Yet Elara's presence gave Dorian a sense of security. She started the interview by asking about his life, education, and work experience. Dorian was honest and told everything sincerely. "Great, you're hired. You can start right away," Ingrid declared after listening. Dorian blinked in disbelief. "So, when can you start?" Ingrid asked. "Even now," replied Dorian enthusiastically. Ingrid smiled, infected by his energy, and led him to the dressing room for a shower and a change of clothes. Upon his return, Ingrid informed him of the first task: to change the door and some electrical sockets in the room of Mr. Laurent, the owner of the hotel. Although nervous, Dorian went into the room and began to work, taking care to clean up all the dust and keep the place tidy. Laurent entered the room while Dorian was working. "Are you the new hire?" he asked, surprised. "Yes, sir. I will soon finish my work and you may use the room," answered Dorian confidently. "Can I sit at my desk while you work?" Laurent asked. "Of course, sir." Laurent watched Dorian work with impeccable skill. After finishing, Dorian cleaned everything up, and Laurent seemed impressed. "You are very helpful. Do you intend to grow up here at the hotel?" Laurent asked with interest. Dorian honestly told his story and the difficulties he encountered. Laurent offered him encouraging information. "We offer partnerships with schools, training courses, and universities. If you want to study, don't worry. Here your salary will be maintained." Dorian enthusiastically accepted and resumed his studies over the next few days, occasionally meeting Elara to tell her how much he enjoyed the hotel. Everything seemed to be going well until the day came when he had to pay the back rent. Having not yet received his salary, he asked the owner to wait, but it was useless. He was kicked out of the house and had to wait 2 weeks to receive the first payment. With no one to turn to for help, Dorian thought the hotel was the solution. Working nights and with few people around, he slept in the dressing room for 3 consecutive nights, going unnoticed. He slept in the hotel dressing room unnoticed, or so he thought. On the 4th night, he was startled awake when someone tapped him on the shoulder. It was Ingrid. "Good evening, sorry to wake you, but it doesn't seem comfortable to sleep here, does it?" he said kindly. Dorian woke up scared, afraid of being fired. Ingrid continued, "Some people told me they saw you sleeping here. I'll have to talk to Mr. Laurent about it. It's not right for an employee to sleep in the dressing room." Desperate, Dorian pleaded, "Please, no, I can't lose this job." Soon after, Dorian was summoned to Laurent's office. Will Dorian keep his job? Find out in the second part of the video. Find the link in the description, and don't forget to leave your